It was January 26, 1966. In Australia, this is a day of national celebration. The sun was bright over the city of Adelaide. In the suburb of Somerton Park, a family was beginning their day. The home of Jim and Nancy Beaumont was filled with the usual morning sounds. Their 3 children were getting ready: Jane, Anna, Grant. Jane, the eldest, was 9 years old. Anna was 7, and young Grant was only 4. They were planning a trip to a place they knew well, a place of sand and water called Glenelg Beach. It was a simple plan for a simple day. The children were trusted. They were sensible. Jane, in particular, was known for being very responsible, especially with her younger brother and sister. They had made this journey before, and their parents felt it was safe. The journey itself was unremarkable, a path the children had trodden before. They left their modest brick home. They walked the short distance to the bus stop. The bus ride to Glenelg was brief, about 5 minutes. They looked out the window at the passing streets, perhaps talking about what they'd do at the beach. When they arrived, they stepped into the bustling holiday crowd. Glenelg Beach was a popular spot. On a public holiday, it was teeming with families, the sounds of laughter, the splashing of waves. Several people saw them that morning. A local postman, who knew the children, saw them near the beach around 10:15. He said they seemed happy and walked with purpose. They were not distressed. They were not with anyone else. Simply 3 siblings heading for a day of play. These early sightings established a clear timeline. They had reached the sand and the sea. The day at this point was still entirely normal. They bought their lunch, as told. Wenzel's Bakery, shopkeeper, remembered serving Jane. Jane bought a meat pie. Jane bought a pasty. She paid with a £1 note. As the police began their investigation, witness accounts started to form a disturbing picture. Several people came forward to say they had seen the 3 children on the beach, but they were not alone. They were in the company of a man. He was tall, thin, with a sun-tanned complexion and fair blondish hair. He was estimated to be in his mid-30s. He was dressed in swimming trunks. He was seen playing with the children, helping them get dressed after they had been swimming, and seemed to have a relaxed and friendly manner with them. One witness, a woman who had been sitting nearby, observed the man and the children for some time. She saw him lying on a towel close to them. At one point, Jane seemed to be playing with him, almost wrestling with him in a playful way. The children appeared comfortable in his presence. They did not seem frightened or hesitant. This observation was troubling. It suggested that the man had managed to gain their trust. To an onlooker, he might have appeared to be their father or a relative. Later, around 1:15 in the afternoon, another witness saw the children again, walking away from the beach on their own, heading in the direction of a local cake shop. A short time later, the same witness saw them again, this time with the tall, fair-haired man. He was carrying a bag, similar to the one the children had. They were walking away from the beach, seemingly together. When it became clear the children were missing, a full-scale search was launched. It began as a frantic effort by their parents. Neighbors scoured the local streets, calling out their names into the darkening evening. By the next morning, it had escalated into one of the largest police searches in the history of South Australia. Police officers descended on Glenelg, cordoning off areas. They began a meticulous sweep of the beach, and they swept the surrounding parklands. The search was vast and desperate, fueled by fear that the children had met with foul play. Hundreds of police and volunteers formed long lines. They walked shoulder to shoulder across the dunes and across the grassy reserves. They poked through bushes. They looked in every shed, and every outbuilding was inspected. They drained a nearby stormwater drain, hoping to rule out an accident. The public response was enormous. People came from all over Adelaide, and even from other states. They searched the coastline for miles in both directions. At the same time, a search was conducted in the water. Police boats patrolled the coast, crews scanning the waves. Divers were sent down to explore the seabed around the jetty, and they searched around the rocky breakwaters. The fear was that the children might have drowned, a tragic, plausible accident on a crowded beach. But the ocean gave up no clues. No scraps of clothing were found, no towels, Not a single item belonging to the children was ever found in the water. The sea remained silent, offering no answers. The search expanded beyond Glenelg. Police began a house-to-house canvass in Glenelg and in Somerton Park as well. In the weeks and months that followed, the police investigation was inundated with information. Thousands of tips poured in from the public. Every lead was pursued with diligence. Small leads, strange leads. The primary focus remained on finding the tall man, a fair-haired description, the man seen with the children. A composite sketch was created and circulated widely. The sketch became one of Australia's most recognizable faces. Many men were questioned for resembling the sketch. Each was eventually cleared. Several suspects emerged over the years. One man became a person of significant interest. He was known to be in the Glenelg area at the time. He bore a resemblance to the sketch. Police investigated him thoroughly but found insufficient evidence to charge him. Other individuals, many with criminal histories involving children, were examined. Each new name sparked hope in the community, but each investigation ended in a dead end. There were also a number of cruel hoaxes that caused the family immense pain. A year after the disappearance, the Beaumonts received letters supposedly from Jane. The letters described a happy life with the man who had taken them. A meeting to return the children was arranged. It was a trap. The letter writer was never identified. Dutch psychic Gerard Croiset was brought to Australia. He claimed the children were buried under a new building near their home. An excavation was carried out. Nothing was found. The case has been re-examined many times over the decades. New technologies like DNA analysis were applied to old evidence, with little effect. Factory owned by a prominent suspect. 2013 excavation. 2018 excavation. The public watched with bated breath. The excavations found nothing. The case remains open, with theories, witness statements, potential suspects. But it lacks the one crucial piece of evidence that would solve the puzzle. The disappearance of the Beaumont children left a permanent scar on the Australian psyche. It marked a turning point, an end of a certain kind of innocence. Before that day in 1966, it was common for children to play unsupervised, to walk to the shops, to walk to the beach on their own. After the Beaumonts vanished, a new kind of fear took hold. Parents began to watch their children more closely. The phrase stranger danger entered the common vocabulary. The freedom that children had once enjoyed was curtailed, replaced by a new and necessary caution. The case changed the way a whole generation raised their families. For the Beaumont family, the loss was an ongoing agony. Jim and Nancy Beaumont remained in their home for many years, hoping that their children might one day return. They never changed the locks. They left everything as it was. They endured the endless cycle of hope and despair, the media attention, the painful hoaxes. They eventually divorced, the immense strain of their unresolved grief having taken its toll. Nancy Beaumont passed away in 2019 and Jim Beaumont in 2023, both going to their graves without ever knowing what happened to their children. Theirs is a story of quiet, unending sorrow. The mystery itself has become a part of the nation's folklore. It is a quiet, haunting presence in the background of Australian life. Every few years, a new book, a new documentary, a new police inquiry brings the story back to the surface. Each time, the same black and white photos of Jane, Anna, and Grant reappear, their faces frozen in time, forever young.